Have you ever, really wrestled with a complex idea? Or
Hmm.
maybe found yourself stuck where none of the choices felt, well, right?
Hmm. Or you read a quote, maybe, and it just stops you, makes you think, okay, what does that actually mean for me?
Exactly. Welcome to the deep dive. This is where we try to take those big, sometimes philosophical questions and kind of break them down.
Yeah, make them a bit more manageable.
So today we're diving into philosophical thinking. We're using some notes on how to approach these deep ideas as our guide
Right. And the mission really is to give you a way to get your head around abstract concepts, build clearer arguments.
and sharpen that critical thinking, right?
All right.
Which, let's face it, helps in everything. Not just essays, but just figuring things out in life.
Absolutely. It's about taking these thinking tools and seeing how they apply day to day, helping you become, truly well informed.
Okay, so where do we start? How do you even begin to organize thoughts around something big and messy? Is there a map?
Huh, a map is a good way to put it. Yeah. Like any journey, you need a starting point, a path, and a destination, a structure.
Structure, right. So an introduction, a middle part, and an end.
Basically, yes. But it's the purpose of each part that matters. The intro, that's where you state your main point, your unique take.
Your interpretation, not just summarizing the topic.
No, definitely not. It's about saying, here's how I see this. And you want to grab attention right away.
How do you do that? Avoid just starting with another quote, I guess.
Yeah, good point. Since the topic might already be a quote, a really effective way is a real life story, an anecdote, or maybe a paradox.
Okay, an anecdote. Like if you're talking about principles versus force,
Mm,
maybe the Mountbatten example.
perfect. How he used diplomacy principles to convince princely states to join India?
Right, but then Hyderabad needed Operation Polo, needed force, soldiers.
Exactly. Two contrasting incidents that really show the idea in action, makes it concrete.
Okay, so you start with that story. Then what?
Then you connect it real quick. Just say, this story illustrates the core idea I'm exploring. Justify why you started that way.
Makes sense.
Then you lay out your plan, briefly outline what you'll cover based on your brainstorming. It sets expectations. Here's where we're going.
Got it. Intro. Your interpretation, grab attention with a story, connect it, roadmap. What about the main part, the body? How do you build the argument there?
Right, the deep dive part. You need organization. Think macro and micro.
Macro and micro.
Yeah. Macro dimensions are your big themes like prospects, challenges, impacts, broad categories.
And micro.
Micro are the specific points within those themes. So under challenges, you might have social challenges, economic ones, political ones.
Ah, okay. Specific examples or facets. And how do you make it flow? Avoid just listing things.
Good question. Between the big macro themes, you need clear transitions. Maybe even like little subheadings, but not too many. Or just connecting sentences. Now let's turn to the challenges.
And between the smaller micro points.
Simpler is better there, just connecting words. However, furthermore, on the other hand, similarly keeps it smooth, like conversation.
Right, keeps it moving naturally. Okay,
Yeah.
so that's the body. Then the conclusion. How do you wrap it all up effectively?
Conclusions are crucial. Often there are two parts. First, what I call the penultimate conclusion.
Penultimate, so second to last.
Yeah, this is your prescription based on everything discussed. What should happen? What's the recommendation or the way forward?
The practical takeaway.
Exactly. And then comes the ultimate conclusion, your final word. And this needs to be, well, creative.
Creative how?
It could be a powerful quote, maybe a line from a poem or song, a snippet of a speech, or even circling back to your opening story, bringing it full circle.
Ah, that's neat. Tying it all together.
It really makes an impact. That final creative touch can, really elevate the whole thing, leaves the listener thinking.
Definitely sounds like it. Okay, that structure gives us a solid framework. Let's try applying it. Let's dive into our first big idea. A ship in harbor is safe, but that is not what ship is for.
A classic. Powerful metaphor.
It seems straightforward, but
Mm.
is a ship always safe in the harbor? Really?
Yeah.
And what's the deeper meaning for us?
Great starting questions. Well, safe from storms, maybe. But is it truly safe? If it just sits there, it rusts, it decays, it loses its purpose.
So inaction is its own kind of danger.
Absolutely. And the connection to life is immediate, right? Staying in your comfort zone. It feels safe, but it leads to stagnation. You don't grow.
You rust.
You rust, exactly. So if the ship is life, what is its purpose then, according to this idea?
To sail. To face the sea.
To brave the sea, yeah.
Yeah.
To explore, to experience, maybe to carry things, reach new places, for life. Well, many philosophers say it's meant to be examined, lived fully. To take risks, find meaning.
Not just stay docked.
Definitely not. An unexamined life or an unventured life maybe isn't worth living, some might say.
So why do we often choose the harbor? Why is that comfort zone so tempting?
Well, it's understandable. Sailing means facing storms, right? Potential failure, stress, anxiety about the unknown, maybe disappointing people, facing criticism, being isolated.
Fear. Fear is a big part of it.
Huge part. But there's that saying, right? Those are lost who have decided never to wander. The real loss might be in never setting sail at all.
Wow, those are lost who have decided never to wander. That hits hard. Okay, so what happens when we do sail? What are the upsides of leaving the harbor?
Oh, immense upsides on a personal level. Self-growth. You build resilience, overcome fears, develop your personality. Think about athletes.
Right. Going to the Olympics, competing, win or lose, the journey changes them.
Exactly. The courage it takes. And for society, progress often comes from challenging the status quo. Think about tackling social evils, child marriage, Saudi dowry.
People had to sail their ship against strong opposition.
They absolutely did. Society has to take risks to evolve. And nations, too.
Nations, how so?
Think about major milestones. India's economic reforms in '91, huge risk. The Green Revolution, the Pokhran tests. Establishing democracy itself in such a diverse country.
All massive leaps into the unknown.
Definitely. Bold decisions, even internationally, forming global bodies, treaties, that requires nations to step out of isolation to risk cooperation.
So risk seems essential for growth at all levels.
Yeah.
But is it always about being out at sea? Do we ever need the harbor?
Ah, that's the nuance. It's not about reckless sailing, it's about calculated risk. And yes, sometimes you need to return to harbor to reassess, to find stability.
Calculated risk. Prudence.
Prudence, exactly. Look at India's economy post-reforms. It became a mixed economy, balancing liberalization with welfare. Or the no first-use nuclear policy after Pokhran.
So it's brave, but smart. Not just jumping off a cliff.
Precisely. You need wisdom, courage, sure, but also perseverance. Success isn't instant, and that prudence. Knowing your strengths, your weaknesses, the real risks involved.
What qualities help us do that?
Wisdom to see clearly, courage of conviction to act, perseverance to keep going, and prudence to weigh it all carefully.
Got it. Can you think of stories that capture this? People who really sailed their ships.
So many. Christopher Columbus, born a weaver, obsessed with the sea, failed 3 times before reaching the Americas. Talk about perseverance.
He's definitely sailed his ship.
Or Savitri Bai Phule, denied education herself, taught by her husband, started India's first girls' school despite facing terrible abuse. Imagine the courage.
Incredible bravery for social change against massive waves.
Absolutely. Even mythological figures like Arjun in the Mahabharata, initially choosing safety, not fighting.
The harbor option.
Until Krishna convinces him to sail, to fight for Dharma. It's a recurring theme. And poets capture it too.
Like Harivansh Rai Bachchan.
Yes. Leram sadak enoka par nehuti. You don't cross the sea by fearing the waves. Koshish karne walon ki har nahi huti. Those who try never truly lose. It's about taking that purposeful step.
Wow. Okay, so the takeaway is clear. Calculated risk, venturing out, is key to growth. Let's shift gears. Our next idea is tricky. Just because you have a choice, it does not mean any of them has to be right.
Oof. Yeah, this one hits differently.
Right. It feels like.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're just stuck between bad options. Is choice always good?
This quote speaks directly to ethical dilemmas. Situations where every path seems flawed, compromises some value, or has negative consequences, there's no clean, right answer.
Can you give a simple example?
The classic trolley problem is perfect.
Yeah.
Runaway trolley, 4 people on one track, 1 on another. You have a lever, pull it, 1 dies, don't pull it, 4 die.
You have a choice.
Yeah.
But neither feels right.
Awful. Exactly, that's the essence of it. Or think about a doctor treating a patient who's done something horrible. Uphold the oath. Or let justice maybe take its course.
Conflicts between professional ethics and personal morality.
Right. Or that official with the ration cards, follow the rule, maybe someone starves, break the rule, maybe undermine the system.
These are impossible situations. Kunti abandoning Karna in the Mahabharata.
Another powerful example. Reveal her secret and face shame, or abandon her child. No easy right answer there.
So back to the question. Is having a choice always a good thing? It seems like it can cause real pain.
Not necessarily always good, no. Especially if the choices themselves are poor, or if we choose badly. Think about democracy. We have the choice to vote. But if people don't research and vote for, say, corrupt candidates, the choice exists, but the outcome isn't right.
Or historical choices. Leaders choosing paths that led to war or suffering.
Exactly. Hitler had choices. The Allies had choices about how to respond earlier. Choices were made, but they weren't necessarily right choices. Having an option doesn't make the option good.
Okay. But when is choice clearly a good thing then?
Choice is powerful when it reveals character. When you face an ethical fork in the road, how you choose shows who you are.
Like the dented car example, no one's watching.
Right. Do you leave a note or just drive off? Choosing the honest path, even when you could get away with it, says something profound. Choosing not to take a bribe, that's where choice reveals moral fiber.
So it's in those moments of testing that choice really matters. But why do we sometimes make the wrong choice? Even consciously.
Oh, lots of reasons. Peer pressure, maybe. Old grudges, greed, wanting instant gratification.
The easy path versus the right path.
Often, yeah. The right choice might require sacrifice, discipline, patience. The wrong one can be tempting immediate pleasure, avoiding conflict. It's like our appetite winning over our reason, as Plato might say. Think consumerism, damaging the environment. We often know better.
Appetite versus reason. That resonates. What about this idea? Not making a choice is also a choice.
Ah, yes. This isn't about being indecisive. It's about a conscious decision to abstain or wait. India's non-alignment movement during the Cold War is a great case study.
Choosing not to choose a side.
Exactly. It wasn't passive neutrality. It was an active choice based on sovereign principles, judging each issue independently, waiting for clarity rather than rushing into an alliance. A strategic pause, you could say.
A deliberate stance. It makes me think of that John Dewey quote.
We do not learn from experience, we learn from reflecting on experience.
Right. It's the thinking about the choice or the non-choice that leads to learning.
Absolutely. Without that reflection, the experience itself might not teach us much. So, the core idea here is really about navigating those tough ethical spots where no choice feels perfect and understanding that our choices, even not choosing, define us.
Okay, powerful stuff. Let's move to our third deep dive. Thinking is like a game. It does not begin unless there's an opposite team. What's this opposite team in thinking?
It's a great metaphor. The opposite team isn't an enemy necessarily, it's contrasting ideas, different perspectives, constructive criticism, even just obstacles or conflicting evidence, anything that pushes back against your initial thought.
So it's the challenge, the thing that makes you defend or rethink your position.
Exactly. It kickstarts critical thinking. Without that opposition, our thoughts can just stay comfortable, stagnant, never really tested or refined.
How does this show up in, say, philosophy or science?
Well, think of Hegel's dialectic. Thesis meets antithesis, creating synthesis. Idea meets counter idea, leading to a better idea.
Of course, Socrates, always questioning.
Precisely. Challenging assumptions. And Karl Popper, in Science, a theory is only strong if it can be proven wrong, if it's falsifiable. It needs that potential opposition to be scientific.
Even inside our own heads, right? That feeling when you believe two contradictory things.
Cognitive dissonance, Leon Festinger's idea. That mental discomfort pushes us to resolve the conflict, to think deeper. It's like an internal opposite team.
Makes sense. What about real-world examples? Where does this game play out?
Everywhere. History shows leaders surrounded by yes men often failed, while those with critical advisors thrived. They had an opposite team giving honest feedback.
Like a checks and balances system for thinking.
Yeah. Or the current debate on AI jobs lost versus jobs created. Hearing both sides gives a much fuller picture than just sticking to one narrative.
And democracy itself relies on this, right? A strong opposition party.
Absolutely vital. It prevents tyranny, ensures accountability, forces the government to justify its actions. Think about policy debates. Feminism brought in the gender lens. Intersectionality added layers of complexity.
Broadening the game to include more perspectives.
Exactly. Understanding improved because the opposite team, different viewpoints joined the conversation. Social media debates on free speech versus regulation, economic policy, diplomacy, it all benefits from constructive opposition.
Even how we understand history changes based on who's telling the story, right?
Yeah.
Different schools of thought.
Definitely. Marxian, subaltern, feminist historians, they all offer different interpretations, different teams looking at the same events, enriching our overall understanding. Even group study works this way.
Huh, true. Everyone brings their own angle. So what happens if there's no opposite team?
That's dangerous. You get one-sided views, groupthink. At worst, tyranny like Pol Pot in Cambodia. Corrupt governments with no checks. Innovation stalls. Thinking gets stuck.
Echo chambers.
Echo chambers are a perfect modern example. Your thinking is insulated, unchallenged, leads to that my way or the highway attitude, like India's emergency period, limited opposition, limited freedom, not a healthy state for thinking.
So, challenge is almost always good for thinking.
Yeah.
But are there any times when the opposite team isn't needed? When maybe solitude works?
That's fair. Sometimes pure originality might emerge in isolation, a groundbreaking piece of art, maybe, or a poem written alone. Cave paintings didn't exactly have focus groups.
True.
But even then, often that initial creation is later refined through critique, through interaction with others' ideas, widespread intellectual or social progress. That almost always seems to require the game, the clash of ideas.
So the core insight is thinking thrives on challenge. Iron sharpens iron.
Iron sharpens iron, and one man sharpens another, exactly. And in diversity, there is beauty and there is strength. If an idea is true, it shouldn't fear the opposite team.
Powerful. Okay, one last brief exploration. This one's quite abstract. Poets are unacknowledged legislators of the world. How can poets be lawmakers?
It's a beautiful, provocative line by Shelley. It suggests influence beyond formal laws. We need to ask, who are poets? What do they do? How is that, legislating? And why unacknowledged?
Where do we find evidence for this? Old scriptures, songs.
All of the above. Think of the Vedas, religious texts, classic literature, even meaningful song lyrics. They often contain deep wisdom about how to live, how society should be.
Like Rabindranath Tagore, his famous poem.
Where the mind is without fear. Absolutely. Written before independence, it laid out ideals, freedom, reason, unity that profoundly influenced the spirit of India's constitution later on. He wasn't writing laws, but he was shaping the values behind the laws.
So influencing the collective consciousness. Unacknowledged legislation.
Exactly. Or Kabir does, centuries ago. His couplets offered social critique, moral guidance. That line, Kabira Khada Bazar Main, wishing well for all, friend to none, foe to none.
You mentioned that reflects India's non-alignment policy.
It captures a similar spirit, doesn't it?
Yeah.
A timeless principle echoed centuries later. Or Ramdari Singh Dinkar, the Rashtra Kavi.
He wrote after independence.
Yes, powerfully addressing issues like communalism, inequality, even challenging leaders directly about the gap between Delhi and the villages. Poets observe, feel deeply, and express truths that resonate and shape how people think and feel, often paving the way for social change or formal policy down the line. It's a subtle yet profound form of legislation.
Okay, wow, we've covered some serious ground. Let's try to pull it all together in a quick recap.
Good idea. So first, we talk structuring thoughts. A clear intro stating your interpretation, using a relatable story, a body with broad themes and specific points flowing logically, and a creative, memorable conclusion.
All right, then the ship and harbor. Life needs calculated risks, moving beyond comfort zones for growth, but also valuing stability and prudence. Don't just rust away.
Then, choice, not always right. Recognizing ethical dilemmas where no option is perfect, and how our choices, even deciding not to choose, reveal our character.
And thinking is a game. The crucial role of opposing views, constructive criticism, the opposite team, and sharpening thought, driving progress, and avoiding echo chambers.
And finally, the poets as legislators, how art and poetry subtly shape societal values and consciousness, acting as an unacknowledged force influencing culture and even future policy.
These aren't just abstract ideas, are they? They're really tools for, navigating everyday life, making decisions, understanding the world around us better.
Absolutely. Which leads to a final thought for you listening.
Go on.
So, what harbor might you be sitting in right now? And perhaps, what ship in your own life needs to consider setting sail?
Or maybe next time you face a big decision, will you actively look for that opposite team to challenge your thinking, make it stronger?
Worth pondering.
Definitely. Take some time to reflect on these ideas. See if you can spot them playing out around you or in your own choices.
It's been a great discussion.
It really has. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into philosophical thinking. It's always a journey of discovery, learning together.